में जो बदलाव आ रहा है, जो नए अवसर बन रहे हैं, उसमें आपका योगदान बहुत ज्यादा महत्वपूर्ण है।
On January 9th, 2003, India holds its first ever Pravasi Bharatiya Divas to recognize and celebrate the contributions of non-resident Indians as well as the larger global Indian diaspora, currently estimated at over 25 million. The day chosen was significant as it was on that day, January 9th, that Mahatma Gandhi landed back on Indian shores from South Africa in the year 1915 and picked up the fight against India's colonial masters. India launches the formal recognition process of overseas population of Indian origin by launching Overseas Citizen of India or OCI during the Pravasi Bharatiya Divas convention held in Hyderabad on 9 January 2006. Pravasi Bharatiya Divas grows in strength to attract worldwide attention from the diaspora as well as world leaders who are invited as guests of India. 2022 completes the 18th anniversary of PBD. And since those early days when India shed its failing development model and embraced modern practices, a dramatic transformation takes place. This is all too evident today. Today, India's growth story is celebrated and sought after by the rest of the world. India, set to become the third largest economy in the world in a few short years, stands proud on the world stage. In recent years, India's reform project has picked up pace and running on super fast tracks, leading to dramatic improvements in the quality of life of its 1.35 billion people and offering multiple opportunities to the rest of the world. India is one of the hottest destinations for foreign investment by global corporations and investment funds. A recognition that the India growth story is only beginning. India becomes the first country in the world to administer 1.5 billion doses of COVID-19 vaccines. Under a vaccine friendship program, India continues to supply millions of doses to needy countries. Huge improvements in infrastructure and governance became magnets for entrepreneurs both within India and abroad. A large democracy with a stern adherence to the rules of law, rising standard of living for millions of poor each year. Digital India taking shape as India boasts the largest number of people using digital payment systems. As India soars into prominence and prosperity, CIF and the 1.9 million Indo-Canadians, this great country of Canada, are looking forward to scaling new peaks and realizing greater goals in our evolving and expanding bilateral ties with India.
Namaste, friends. A very good morning and welcome to Canada India Foundation's Pravasi Bharatiya Divas celebrations. A very warm welcome to our distinguished guest, Honorable Anita Anand, Minister of National Defense, His Excellency Ajay Bisaria, High Commissioner of India to Canada, and Consul General of India in Toronto, Apoorva Srivastava ji. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for tuning in this morning. Pravasi Bharatiya Divas, as you all know, is a special day dedicated to us. Yes, those of us who have left our homeland and made our lives and livelihood elsewhere in the world. The global Indian diaspora story that has been evolving over the past 100 years or more has resulted in a community that numbers over 25 million today, stretched across the globe. This day gives us an opportunity to remember those pioneers in early years, as well as celebrate the achievements of the global Indian community today. Back in 2011, when the Year of India in Canada was celebrated by the Indian government, which aims to highlight India's culture, traditions, diversity, and celebrate the contributions of the Indian diaspora to Canadian society. I was fortunate to be part of the team to lead an event marking the Pravasi Divas PBD Canada here in Toronto. It was a two-day event that drew participation across North America, including Caribbean islands. And today's event is a step further to celebrate the accomplishment and role of Indo-Canadian diaspora, and hoping that this tradition will continue year after year. The achievements of Indian diaspora around the world are well recorded. It is no different for the Indo-Canadians. Beginning in early part of the 20th century, picking up speed in the past 3 decades, Indo-Canadians have been an integral part of the Canadian landscape, contributing and enriching every sphere of national life. We are a visible presence in politics, labor market, businesses, academia, technology, and cultural industries. And we have reasons to be proud of what we have achieved so far. While on our achievements, I take this opportunity to congratulate a great Indo-Canadian and one of our very own CIF founding member and past chair, Dr. Lucky Lakshman, who has appointed as an officer of the Order of Canada this year. And our good wishes also goes to Mr. Bob Dhillon and Dr. Pradeep Merchant for being appointed as a member of the Order of Canada. With thousands of Indian students enrolling for the higher studies in our educational institutions and steady stream of immigrants arriving in Canada each year, we are looking a community that is set to grow well into the future. The Indo-Canadian community remains extremely attached to India, having deep family and cultural roots there. And we also take pride in being Canadians, enjoying a level of freedom and respect that few other societies offer. In building deeper ties between Canada and India, the role played by the Indo-Canadian diaspora is and will be critical. The enormous goodwill and talent available among the Indo-Canadians, once united and channeled productively, can help strengthen the bonds between our government and our people. As you know, it is also the theme of this morning's webinar. Shortly, we will hear from Honorable Minister Anita Anand, also Canada's Chief Trade Commissioner, Sarah Wilshaw, one of the strongest advocates of the closer Canada-India ties, Gary Comerford, and two very young and go-getting professionals, Vijender Gairola and Ajay Ramasubramaniam, who are joining us from India. This session will be moderated by Mr. Stuart Back. Over the years, Mr. Back has held several top roles in both advocacy and diplomatic arenas. During his stint as Canada's High Commissioner to India, his was a strong voice in facilitating the flow of Canadian pension funds into India's growth story. So welcome, Stewart. And friends, our second session this morning focuses on Pravasi Bharatiya Divas, the role of Indo-Canadians in enhancing the Canada-India ties. And we'll listen to Honorable Minister of Infrastructure, Prasad Panda from Alberta, and Member of Parliament, Honorable Chandra Arya, and Associate Minister, Honorable Nina Tangri from Ontario Government. To moderate the session, we'll have the CEO of Y Media, Mr. Yudhvir Jaswal, who has also gained his reputation within the community as a journalist, editor, radio and TV personality. Thank you, Yudhvir, for joining us. And friends, I hope you stay tuned during the entire program to learn more on the future of Canada-India relationships and from the experts themselves. And they bring with them deep understanding and years of experience. What they share with us this morning will help us on the steps that need to be taken next. Thank you all once again for joining CIF PBD celebration. And we are looking forward to a very thought-provoking discussion ahead. Namaste. And friends, now I will request our national convener, Ritesh Malik, to introduce our first speaker of this morning, Honorable Minister Anita Anand. Ritesh, over to you.
Thank you, Satish ji. Namaste, everyone, and a very warm welcome to everyone on today's Pravasi Bharatiya Divas 2022 Toronto celebrations. My name is Ritesh Malik, and I'm National Convener with Canada India Foundation. Today is a day to celebrate diaspora, recognize and celebrate the diversity, strength, success, inspiration, and motivation it brings to hundreds of thousands of immigrants choosing Canada as home every year, year after year. There could not have been a fitting, shining star of our diaspora than Honorable Anita Anand to open up today's event, who is a daily inspiration to many who dream of serving Canada and making India proud at the same time. The Honorable Anita Anand is serving as Minister of National Defence Canada. She is the first Indo-Canadian and second women defense minister in the history of Canada. She was first elected as MP for Oakville in 2019. Earlier, she served as Minister of Public Services and Procurement, a great contributor in Canada's fight against COVID-19 and keeping all Canadians safe. Minister Anand is a devoted leader with a proven record of service. In her Oakville community, she has served on the board of directors of the Lighthouse Program for Grieving Children, the Oakville Hospital Foundation, and Oakville Hydroelectricity Distribution. Minister Anand has worked as a scholar, lawyer, and researcher. She has been professor of law at the University of Toronto. She has also taught law at Yale Law School, Queen's University, and Western University. In 2019, the Royal Society of Canada awarded her the Vivian Allaire Medal for outstanding contributions in governance relating to private and public organizations. A very warm welcome, Anita Anand ji, and over to you.
Namaste. Thank you so much for that very, very generous introduction. And I'd like to thank the Canada India Foundation team and Your Excellency Ajay Bisaria and Apoorva Srivastava and Sadishji and all of you for inviting me here today to celebrate this important day with you. We are not able, as you know, to come together to celebrate as we normally would. And I feel very grateful to the CIF for actually taking additional steps to ensure that we can virtually celebrate Pravasi Bharatiya Divas, or Indian Diaspora Day. I want, for a moment, before I begin my formal remarks, to thank the High Commission of India for its collaboration during the spring of 2021 with respect to vaccine procurement. As a result of our negotiations with the Serum Institute and Verity Pharmaceutical, we were able to bring 500,000 vaccines to Canada in March 2020, which was part of the effort that we made in Canada to become one of the leading countries in vaccine procurement and administration in the world. Moreover, the Government of Canada and I are grateful for the High Commission of India's assistance in repatriating Canadians during spring and early summer of 2020. Without your help and support, the Canadian government would not have been able to bring Canadians back home. And the constituents who were in India at the beginning of the pandemic were also very grateful for the assistance that the High Commission staff, both for the Indian and Canadian mission, effectively contributed. These endeavors were able to happen because of our very close partnerships with our global friends here in Canada and in India. The people-to-people ties between our countries have been built over generations. They're embodied by 1.4 million Canadians of Indian origin that contribute to Canadian society. Prime Minister Trudeau often talks about how diversity is our strength. And I would just say that the efforts that we made together as a country, and indeed as a South Asian community here in Canada and of course in India, are a reflection of that very motto. Like so many Canadians, my parents were newcomers to Canada. They immigrated to Canada in the 1960s. They met in Ireland, where my mother was at medical school and my dad was a new doctor. They got married in England and they lived in India and Nigeria before deciding to embark on a new adventure together and immigrate to North America. And they had the idea that they may end up in the United States. But the first stop that my father made when he made the reconnaissance trip was in Halifax, Nova Scotia. And he decided to stay there. And my mom and my older sister, who was born in Ibadan, Nigeria, joined him. And then my younger sister and I were born in Nova Scotia. And I am very proud to be of both Tamil and Punjabi ancestry. My father's family is from the south, from Chennai, and he was born actually in Burma and grew up in Varanasi. My mom is Punjabi, was born in a little town called Jindiala Guru outside of Amritsar and grew up in East Africa. And as I've grown up as a child of parents from the North and the South, I've grown to love both of these cultures within the Indian diaspora. And I would say that it's this diversity within diversity. And it's especially poignant on Diaspora Day, as well as every day. And so when I take that little story of my family and I look across our country, and the many, many Canadians who have a similar story to the one I just told you, I feel a deep connection to our community. We all grew up in a culture where we were trying to make sure that we maintain our heritage through our puja, through lighting diya, through reading the Bhagavad Gita, as well as getting to know this land and this part of the world. And I think that that is something we have to recognize, that every family is going through, especially on a day like India Diaspora Day. And then I also think about how vibrant and successful our Indian diaspora in Canada is when we see Dr. Lucky Lakshman and Bob Dylan and Ajay Bisaria succeeding in many different ways in medicine, in philanthropy, in business. These successes and the many other stories where Indian culture is highlighted in different Canadian communities across the country are at the very, very foundation of a day like Pravasi Bharatiya Divas. Our contributions in our new home are always made possible by having an appreciation for our culture and our ancestry, and our commitment to diversity, and specifically celebrating our diaspora within Canada is a testament to what makes this country so great. So to close, I just wanted to express my sincere appreciation for your ability to organize the important day today, to celebrate the Indian diaspora, and to bring us all together, and to continue to build strong relations between India and Canada. Thank you so much. Namaskar and namaste.
Thank you so very much, Minister Anand, for your very insightful, very touching, very from the heart remarks. We can see a deep India in your heart. And thank you. We are celebrating today the Diaspora Day, and you represent Indo-Canadian over 1.5 or 1.9 million Indo-Canadian, and your accomplishment is the accomplishment of over 1.9 million Indo-Canadian. Your success is over the success of over 1.9 million Indo-Canadian, and we are very, very proud of you. Wishing you a great success in your endeavor and in your term. And thank you for participating. As you rightly said, that purpose of celebration like this is to engage, celebrate, and focus on the role of the diaspora in bringing Canada-India ties very closely. Thank you once again for joining us on this very momentous occasion. Friends, now.
Thank you. Thank you, Satish ji, and Dhanyavad to your whole group for having me today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And friends, now it gives me immense pleasure and an honor to invite His Excellency Ajay Bisaria ji. His Excellency Ajay Bisaria, High Commissioner of India in Canada. As we all know, that he's a career diplomat who joined the services in 1987. And since then, he served on the numerous positions with different portfolios. Prominently, he worked as a private secretary to the Indian Prime Minister Vajpayee ji, and attended over 50 international meets with Prime Minister. And before taking charge of Canada, he served as a High Commissioner of India to Pakistan and was instrumental in opening up of historic Kartarpur Sahib corridor. Interaction we had at the Canada-India Foundation level with His Excellency for last almost 2 years. It has nothing but a person with deep commitment, a strong advocate, and a excellent ambassador of India. And thank you for your guidance, your support to Canada-India Foundation, and special thank you for joining from India. I know it's late hours on this very, very special day, and to celebrate PBD with us. Your Excellency, over to you.
Thank you very much. Namaskar, and very, very happy New Year to everyone joining us today. And of course, very warm greetings for Pravasi Bharatiya Divas. And I, of course, want to especially thank the Canada-India Foundation, Satish ji and Ritesh ji for putting this together, and my colleague Apoorva and the Consul General in Toronto for putting together this event. And of course, my friend and Minister Anita Anand for such a wonderful opening remarks, and for exemplifying in so many ways what we are talking about, the excellence of the Indo-Canadian diaspora. I was, of course, hoping to join in person, but this is a strange world we live in. And of course, I am in India. Part of the reason is that I've just tested positive for COVID this morning. And I can report from the front lines of the pandemic that now it is being called an endemic. And that I joined about 20,000 people in Delhi who tested positive today, and about maybe 200,000 all over India. But of course, the good news is there's no panic. Even though the positivity rate in Delhi was over 25%. Many of my doctor friends are saying it's not a bad thing. It's like getting a booster for your boost vaccine. And it just goes away with a week of mild symptoms. So hopefully that would be the position, and hopefully all of us will be safe. And anyone who does manage to contract this, what in India is the third wave, what in Canada might be the fifth wave, I can assure you that it's not too troubling at this point of time. Well, you know, the pandemic has been part of the story for last year in multiple ways. We in India have administered 1.5 billion vaccines. From today, we've started doses for the boost or precautionary dose for the elderly. And also the teenagers have come forward in a big way, and there's been a great deal of vaccination. So I think despite the third year of this pandemic, it is we are possibly seeing the end of it. And that, I think, is the hope that takes us forward. Reporting from India, I can tell you that there is a great sense of optimism here today. We are looking at an economic growth rate of 9.2% in this fiscal year. And all this is coming on the back of a great deal of reform, a great deal of startup activity, a great deal of innovation. And, I often like to say that about a decade to a foreign audience, we would talk of India's film industry and say that we make 3 or 4 films a day. Today, we say we make 3 or 4 startups a day. And for 2021, it's been an incredible year. It was a pandemic year, but we created 46 tech-driven startups, which means we were creating 46 unicorns. We were creating about 4 unicorns every month, 4 tech companies which were reaching a valuation of more than $1 billion. And of course, the first tech unicorn to come out of India was Digit Insurance, which was promoted by the Indo-Canadian Diaspora, which was promoted by Prem Vatsa, one of our most respected Indo-Canadians, and Fairfax was the company that promoted Digit Insurance. So I think we are in a very sweet spot in terms of the India-Canada relationship, in terms of the India-Canada economic corridor. We've just heard the very good news that we've beaten all records of past years in terms of exports from India to Canada, which have grown 20% in this calendar year 2021 to more than $3.3 billion. And I think in many ways, the economic story has been driving the story of India-Canada relations. We've had a growth of Canadian investment in India from about $5 billion in 2014-15 to more than $60 billion. And from all our conversations, this is going to go, it's going to breach the $100 billion mark even before 2025. I've had an opportunity during my visit to India. I was here on consultations to meet a number of ministers, including attend the conversation between Minister Piyush Goyal, our trade minister, with Minister Mary Ng. And I can say that we are in a very positive space in terms of starting a discussion on an economic partnership agreement to trade agreement. We hope to move forward with that. We are also going to be in India leading the G20. We take over the chairmanship of the G20 later in the year 2022. And of course, we would be happy to welcome Prime Minister Trudeau as one of the G20 partners in India next year. But even before that, we have a number of engagements that we hope to take forward in 2022. I'm delighted that Minister Anand is here because her counterpart, Minister Rajnath Singh, is looking to warmly welcome her in India as soon as the situation with COVID gets better. Incidentally, he is also tested positive in the last few days, so he's working from home, but we won't let these little things dissuade us. We hope to take forward this relationship in multiple ways. So on the trade front, on the foreign front, where we have a strategic dialogue between the two ministers, which is planned for this year. And in multiple other sectors, we are hoping to take this relationship forward in a very, very positive direction. Minister Anand mentioned the kind of coordination we had last year. She and I had the pleasure of receiving together the 500,000 doses of AstraZeneca vaccines in Toronto. And we are deeply, deeply grateful to Canada and the Indo-Canadians particularly, and the Canadian people who helped us during the brutal second wave in April and May of 2021 by providing oxygen plants and such like material. So we are hugely proud of this 1.7 million diaspora. The numbers range from 1.4 to 1.9. But the fact is that this is a hugely significant Indian diaspora in Canada in leadership positions across sectors, whether it's politics, economics, whether it is academia, science, technology, and we are hugely proud to be working closely with them to take forward this relationship. We've had a spectacular year in terms of the number of, in all the metrics in terms of the number of students, 230,000 Indian students coming in. We've had a large numbers of immigrants, over 100,000 of the 400,000 immigrants that Canada took in. They are all traveling with 36 flights a week. And despite this pandemic, I think the sense in both countries is that we will, while we will stop community transmission or restrict community transmission, international mobility is something which is not being affected at this point of time. Of course, we have excellence in politics. We have 19 members of parliament in the latest parliament in Canada. We have 4 cabinet ministers, and of course, several in the provinces, and of course, several in leadership positions across sectors. So 2022 is going to be a great year for the relationship. We are going to move this forward. We're going to move the needle forward in multiple ways. And I'm delighted that in this event, the Canada-India Foundation has put together so many wonderful leaders from the diaspora, Prasad Pandaji, Chandra Aryaji, and we look forward to a great conversation and some great ideas to take this relationship forward. Thank you very much. Namaskar.
Thank you, His Excellency Ajay Ji, for your inspiring words as always. Even in hardest of times, you have always given us a lot of optimism and positivity. Your hard work to bring Canada and India ever closer is much appreciated by one and all here in Canada and there in India as well. We wish you safe travels and hope to see you soon here.